Section 13D. Leadership 13.19. Leadership development. Leaders must effectively influence others, whether through expectation, delegation, or empowerment. Qualities that facilitate followership and ensure credibility and mutual respect with airmen are also important. 3 qualities that help leaders gain respect and credibility and have a positive influence on others are self-awareness, cultural awareness, and empathy. Self-awareness. Leaders must be fully aware of their own values, needs, and biases before counseling airmen. Self-aware leaders are more likely to act consistently with their own values and actions and are less likely to project their own biases onto airmen. Cultural awareness. Leaders need to be aware of the similarities and differences between individuals of different cultural backgrounds, and how these factors may influence values, perspectives, and actions, especially if they generate concerns within the organization. Empathy. Showing empathy is being understanding of and sensitive to another person's feelings, thoughts, and experiences to the point that you can almost feel or experience them yourself. Leaders with empathy put themselves in another's shoes and see a situation from their perspective. Understanding another's position can help the development of a plan of action, one that works. 13.20. Leadership self-evaluation. To successfully perform as a responsible leader, one must understand what is expected of them. The following is a list of questions that offer a perspective for what is expected of aspiring leaders in developing particular skills. Only the most honest responses will reveal one's definitive strengths and potential weaknesses. Pause and consider the importance of the following questions. Do I have the courage to make tough decisions and stand by them? Am I flexible when dealing with change? Can I remain enthusiastic and cheerful when I am confronted with seemingly impossible tasks? Am I willing to do my best with what seem to be inadequate means? Can I inspire people to achieve outstanding results? Am I willing to take reasonable risks to allow my airmen to grow and become more productive? Am I willing to let my airmen be creative? Does my manner invite communication? Do I really listen and withhold judgment until I have all the facts? Am I willing to accept my airmen's failures as my own and recognize their successes as theirs? Am I able to do many things at one time to manage a complex job? Can I carry out orders as well as give them? 13.21. Leadership milestones. Life in the military incorporates a perpetual requirement for continued development. Effective leaders must accept the responsibility of being both a master student and a master teacher by embracing the role of both follower and leader. Setting high, attainable standards provides opportunities for continual growth, as well as guidance and feedback. Giving airmen a goal and inspiration for developing and performing to their best ability is a leader's direct line to developing leaders of tomorrow. In business, successful corporations actively seek out people with leadership potential and expose them to career experiences designed to develop their skills. They also value a combination of maturity, experience, and untapped potential as a valuable asset to any organization. Valuing experience. Leaders foster professional growth by insisting their airmen focus attention on the aspects of a situation, mission, or project they control, setting the stage for some adventure and providing challenging and enlightening experiences. As leaders progress and develop themselves, it is just as important to allow airmen to do the same while growing a sense of confidence in their skills and abilities. Fostering growth. The role of the leader in fostering growth is to identify and analyze knowledge and improvement opportunities. This will ensure advancements are permanent and pervasive, not temporary or limited. Leaders encourage the learning process by formally recognizing individual and unit successes, no matter how large or small. Facing challenges. Developing airmen for leadership positions requires consistent exposure to challenges with gradual increases in responsibility over long periods of time. Identifying people with leadership potential early in their careers and then determining the appropriate developmental challenges for them is the first step. Leaders must recognize the capabilities of each airman in their unit or organization. Those capabilities may include any skills, talents, or experiences the airman may have that can contribute to current and future mission accomplishment. Professional development. Leaders must also diagnose the developmental needs of airmen, then assist them with developmental needs that fulfill current or future jobs or roles and responsibilities. Professional development needs may include off-duty education, professional military education, specific skills training, professional development seminars, and communication skills. Personal development. Personal developmental needs may include relationships, interpersonal skills, and off-duty education. Today's effective leaders had opportunities early in their careers that required them to lead, take risks, and learn from their triumphs and failures. Dealing with setbacks. To learn and improve, people need to be encouraged to try new things. Airmen count on the experience and understanding of strong leaders in dealing with setbacks. An airman's dedication to improving his or her abilities is quite a valuable asset to an organization. Followers must remain optimistic, even in times of adversity. Dealing with change. Leaders must learn as much as possible about a change before dealing with the change process. Furthermore, they must learn how to deal with emotions often associated with change. The people supporting these processes must be motivated to meet the challenge and support the change that is being implemented. To achieve that, leaders must maintain a clear understanding of the present and a clear focus on the future. 13.22 Leadership Styles. Be tough. Set your standards high and insist that your people measure up. Have the courage to correct those who fail to do so. In the long run, your people will be happier. Almost certainly morale will be higher, your outfit better, and your people prouder. Get out from behind your desk. See for yourself what is going on in your work center. Your people will see that you are interested in their problems, work conditions, and welfare. Many of your people problems will go away if you practice this point. Search out the problems. If you think there are no problems in your organization, you may be wrong. Your job is to find them. Foster an environment that encourages people to bring problems to you that they are unable to solve for themselves. Find the critical path to success. Get personally involved in issues on a priority basis. Let your influence be felt on make or break issues in your organization. Avoid the activity trap. Do not spend your valuable time on inconsequential or trivial matters. Weigh in where it counts. Be sensitive. Listen to your people. Communicate with them and be perceptive to their needs. Learn to recognize problems and seek out ideas. Be innovative. Recognize that effective communication involves shared perceptions. Do not be afraid to empathize when necessary. Do not take things for granted. Do not assume things have been fixed. Look for yourself. Furthermore, the probability is high that fixed problems will recur, so monitor your processes. Do not alibi. Remember, you and your people will never be perfect. People will make mistakes, so do not be defensive about things that are wrong. Nothing is more disgusting than the individual who can do no wrong and has an alibi for anything and everything that goes awry. Do not procrastinate. Do not put off hard decisions. They will not be any easier tomorrow. This does not mean you should make precipitous or unreasonable decisions just to be prompt. However, once you have arrived at a decision, get on with it. Do not tolerate incompetence. Once people demonstrate laziness, disinterest, or an inability to do the job, you must have the courage to terminate their assignments. You cannot afford to do less. When your people do good work, recognize and encourage them. They will likely do even better. Be honest. You must create an atmosphere of trust and confidence. When talking to your people, be candid and insist that they do likewise. They set their behavior patterns based upon your example. Nothing is more disastrous than half-truths. Finally, be honest with yourself. Do not gimmick reports and figures to make things look good on paper. 13.23 The Power of Leadership. The concept of power in the workforce has many positive aspects, and everyone can learn to harness different sources of individual power, particularly when in a leadership role. Taken from Ken Blanchard's Points of Power, Situational self-leadership. Developing one's own sources of power enables leaders to be less dependent on others, thus allowing them to take initiative and make greater contributions in their jobs. Although the concept of power sometimes brings to mind such associations as coercion, manipulation, and even corruption, this does not have to be the case when the right people are put in the right leadership positions. It is helpful to develop an understanding that the sole advantage of power is the ability to do more good. Thus, if you want to do more good for the people around you and for the organization, rather than rely on one aspect of power where you are strongest, take advantage of opportunities to apply various aspects of power in varying circumstances where most appropriate. Position power. Position power is inherent in the authority of the position you have. Your position power may be represented when your business card has a title printed on it that indicates you have the power to manage people or command resources. Task power. Task power is power that stems from being good at a particular task and being able to help others with a process or procedure they may be responsible for. Personal power. Personal power comes from your personal character attributes, such as strength of character, passion, inspiration, or a personal vision of the future. Personal power is further enhanced by the strength of your interpersonal skills, such as your ability to communicate well and to be persuasive with others. Relationship power. Relationship power comes from association with others through friendship, familiarity with a colleague, cultivation of a relationship, preferential treatment, or reciprocity, trading favors. Knowledge power. Knowledge power is about having expertise in an area, often through a special skill or group of skills. It is also evidenced by having certain degrees or certifications indicating special training. Knowledge power can generally be transferred within jobs or organizations. 13.24. Full-range leadership development. A full range of leadership behaviors is essential in today's complex world. Today's USAF depends on highly effective airmen with the flexibility and capability to operate throughout a spectrum of leadership styles. Full-range leadership development, FRLD, requires leadership to be viewed as a system made up of three core elements: the leader, the follower, and the situation. Success of FRLD relies not only on the leader's actions, but also an accurate understanding of the follower and the situation, and requires today's leaders to be willing to engage in several ways. Develop relationships with leadership, peers, and subordinates. Take advantage of opportunities as they become available. Efficiently use available resources. Properly evaluate situations and the performance of followers. Reward appropriately and discipline accordingly. Identify improvement areas in oneself, followers, and the workplace. 13.25. Full-range leadership development model. The FRLD model includes leadership behaviors ranging from the passive, less effective laissez-faire behavior, to the more active and effective transformational leadership behavior. Developing leadership behaviors begins by understanding each of them, and knowing when or when not to apply them. In addition, possessing the flexibility and capability to implement the appropriate leadership style successfully is critical to leading others. Laissez-faire. Laissez-faire leaders view the development and needs of their subordinates as someone else's concern. They tend to abandon their responsibilities and remain indifferent toward important issues. They are hesitant to make decisions and are usually absent from their place of work, which negatively affects relationships with peers and subordinates. Management by exception passive. Management by exception passive is an "if it's not broke, don't fix it" leadership style. Here, leaders elect to sit back, observe, and wait for things to go wrong before taking action. They intervene only when policies or rules are broken. Management by exception passive is a little more effective than laissez-faire, but only because subordinates know that leadership will hold them accountable if they fail to meet standards of performance or comply with policies and procedures. Management by exception active. Management by exception active is a leadership style that aims to keep personnel and processes in control by monitoring and governing subordinates through forced compliance with rules, regulations, and expectations for meeting performance standards. Management by exception active exists in a structured system with detailed instructions, careful observation, and very active supervision. Furthermore, this leadership behavior reduces organizational uncertainties, avoids unnecessary risks, and ensures important goals are being achieved. This transactional leadership behavior reduces the temptation for employees to avoid their duties or act unethically and aids members in meeting defined performance objectives. Contingent rewards. Contingent rewards are a transactional leadership style that involves the constructive transaction between leaders and followers. These transactions are contracts or agreements where the leader sets goals, identifies ways for the subordinate to reach these goals, and supports the follower along the way. The follower is then required to perform their assigned tasks to a specified performance level. When the follower achieves the leader's expectations, the leader reinforces the positive behavior by providing a reward. In other words, the reward is contingent upon the follower performing assigned tasks to expectations. Transformational leadership. Transformational leadership is a style of leadership that is defined by the application of offering followers a vision and inspiring their mission. This type of leadership inspires followers to exceed their goals and promotes positive, meaningful changes through intrinsic motivation and encourages others to act because they want to. To motivate intrinsically, a transformational leader must consider ways to get others to embrace ideas, strategies, and initiatives. There are 4 components of transformational leadership: individualized consideration, intellectual stimulation, idealized influence, and inspirational motivation. Individualized consideration, nurturing. Individualized consideration is where leaders treat their followers as individuals with different needs, abilities, and aspirations and not just as a part of a group of subordinates. They empathize with and support each follower while maintaining healthy communication. Using individualized consideration, leaders nurture followers by acting as mentor or coach. Intellectual stimulation, thinking. Intellectual stimulation is the degree to which leaders value their subordinates' rationality and intellect by seeking different perspectives and considering opposing points of view. Using intellectual stimulation, leaders stimulate and encourage creativity in their followers, encourage followers to be independent thinkers, and are not afraid to take risks and solicit ideas from their followers. Inspirational motivation, charming. Inspirational motivation is when leaders are involved with developing and articulating visions that paint an optimistic and enthusiastic picture of the future that is appealing and inspiring to followers. These visions elevate performance expectations and inspire followers to put forth extra effort to achieve the leader's vision. Idealized influence, influencing. Transformational leaders are charismatic and act as positive role models who walk the walk. They exhibit high levels of moral behavior, virtues, and character strengths, as well as a strong work ethic. They represent the organization's values, beliefs, and purpose in both words and actions and set aside personal interests for the sake of the group. 13.26 Leadership attributes. Leading by example. Leadership is modeling and setting the example for others in word and action. Effective leaders lead rather than drive people. They make fair and firm decisions that are in the best interest of good order, discipline, and successful accomplishment of the mission. While no one expects a leader to be perfect, a leader cannot demand the best from others if he or she cannot demonstrate that they are willing to do the same. Through positive behavior, leaders live by their values and become good role models. They reinforce their credibility when they do not dwell on the effort they have put forth. Involvement. A leader's success is reflected in the efficiency, productivity, morale, and enthusiasm demonstrated by the followers, and a leader's involvement is essential to maximizing worker performance and success of the mission. Leaders become a positive influence when they are actively involved in their airmen's careers. Learning from failure. Leadership is about risks and rewards, and effective leaders realize that failure is possibly one of the greatest learning tools an organization has for achieving success. With every risk there is the potential for failure. However, these are the moments which shed light on the faults that exist within an organization. Effective leaders realize that learning from failure empowers change and inspires efforts to improve. Therefore, leaders never fear failure. Transparency. Direction, decisions, and actions are rarely challenged if the leader's intentions are transparent. Transparency is accomplished by integrating regular communication, shared decision-making, mutual consensus, and healthy debate. Airmen should know the reason decisions were made and how decisions will impact them and the organization. Flexibility. Leaders who are flexible listen to others' points of view, bend when necessary, and are not afraid to change course if things are not going well. Flexibility is an especially valued leadership trait during times of change or improvement. Resilience. Leaders at every level within an organization constantly face challenges, changes, and criticisms. Resilient leaders must possess a combination of compassion and grit to persevere during times of uncertainty, deviation, turmoil, and conflict. Accountability. Promoting accountability in the workplace includes establishing clear roles and responsibilities, cultivating a sense of pride and ownership among the members within the organization, providing regular feedback to subordinates, leading with integrity, and setting a positive example. Accountability does not focus on the discipline and punishment associated with being unaccountable, but rather concentrates on creating and sustaining a continuously learning and always improving organization. Positive attitude. Leaders must demonstrate the attitude they hope to see emulated by their followers. Positive enthusiasm is contagious and can deliver energy to all aspects of organizational operations. The inclination to encourage airmen, as well as oneself, is a powerful motivator. Effective leaders constantly embrace positive goals and display a positive attitude. Values. The degree to which the values of trust, loyalty, and integrity are present in leaders of an organization directly relates to the organization's effectiveness. Leadership is the capacity to generate and sustain organizational values, often dependent upon consistency and reliability. Establishing values must also be balanced with a willingness to remove people who do not align themselves with organizational values. Competence. Competence is developed with training, education, and experience. The skills and abilities of a leader enable them to competently lead others to achieve the mission. Character. Character is who a leader is as a person with regard to personality. Character is developed over time and through effort and ambition. For character to be effective, it must be coupled with competence. While competence and character are considered valuable leadership traits, a combination of both will often be required for individuals to be perceived as great leaders. Charisma. Charisma is an energy that is emitted by leaders to inspire airmen to perform a task or objective when aspects of a mission are not inherently motivating or compelling. While charisma can be effective at enhancing morale, it should not be contrary to authority or undermine commander intent. Compassion. Compassion is the sympathy and concern for the misfortunes of others. Compassion promotes healthy, open, and honest communication, and provides the stimulus for airmen to discuss and deal with personal issues. Courage. Courageous leaders must demonstrate both moral and physical courage in combat and in high-risk situations, as well as in day-to-day life. Leadership requires the courage to address substandard performance or unacceptable behavior, welcome new ideas, do what is ethically right when others prefer to do otherwise, and be honest. Acts of courage inspire others to maintain composure in stressful situations, providing the stimulus and encouragement to endure hardships. Credibility. Credibility is the quality of being trusted and believed in. Credible leaders must exercise and demonstrate humility, commitment to the organization and mission, and optimize operations by tapping into the unique strengths of each team member. Occasionally, leaders must be willing to work alongside their followers to get the job done. Credibility may take years to earn through persistent, consistent, and patient leadership and can easily be lost with one thoughtless action, decision, or behavior. Successful leaders earn credibility through leading by example and taking responsibility. A crucial element of a leader's credibility is taking responsibility not only for his or her individual actions, but also for those of the airmen.